You remember 100 years ago when you were a kid, you had that one very lucky Christmas?
Santa's coming to town!
Santa! Oh my God! You received more dollar bills than you had seen in your entire life. You got so much money that Christmas that you literally forgot how to count. The dollar bills in your eyes were literally hindering your ability to be able to count. That's how crazy it was. That's how surreal it was. If you were like me, you immediately became the family accountant. You were accounting for every single penny, every dollar, every $50 bill. Where do you think that's going, Mom? I think I'm gonna keep it with me. Yep, I have a nice little place in my room. It's going to stay with me. It was a wonderful time of the year. And for the first time, you were in what we finance bros like to call wealth preservation mode. You were not spending a solitary dime of that Christmas money. It didn't matter what you had on your list. You wanted a bike? Oh well. A skateboard? Oh well. Rollerblades? It don't matter. I'm not spending anything.
I'm rich, biatch!
It's so funny. When we have nothing, we spend frivolously, we invest so aggressively, but then when we have a little bit of money and we finally reach that number, we decide, yeah, I'm not spending anything. You live like you're broke, you live in a cardboard box, you eat ramen noodles, and it's just incredibly backwards. Let's dive into this a little bit more, but before we do, I'm Barixis. Welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. I post my regular content every Wednesday, and I post YouTube shorts every single day. If you want to keep up, subscribe, hit that little notification bell icon, and I promise you will not regret it. You may learn a thing or two about wealth preservation, but the only way to find out is to stick around and watch the video all the way through from beginning to end. You know what? Let's just get right into it. Okay, let's talk about wealth preservation. What is wealth preservation? Wealth preservation is exactly what it sounds like. It's the effort that we make in order to ensure that we maintain the wealth that we've accumulated over the years. It could be the wealth we've accumulated over the last week, month, year, or our lifetime. It only takes one bad financial decision to erase all of the hard work that you have put forth throughout your entire life. Just one. It takes maybe 10 right decisions to accumulate all this wealth, but it only takes one bad decision to lose it all. Can you imagine that? How would you even process that? Like, imagine you've worked your entire life to amass all this wealth and you lose it in one bad decision. I'll tell you, many people, they don't process it. There is no processing. It is game over. But unlike those single player games that you play, there is no respawning. Once it's over, it's over. The idea is you eventually get to a point in your life where you stop taking financial risks. There's just no need. So instead, you focus on maintaining all of your hard-earned money, all of your wealth, in order to minimize catastrophic losses. Okay, let's talk about the numerous factors that would compel somebody to flip the switch and become this wealth preservation connoisseur. Okay, so here are a few common factors. You have age, health, family planning, retirement, actually achieving your financial goals, economic uncertainty, and a shift in financial responsibilities. The list goes on. Everybody is in their own unique circumstances. And the thing is, no two people, despite the fact that they may have similar circumstances, necessarily will manage their assets and their risk tolerance in the same way. That's just not how the world works. For example, you could have two individuals that are nearing retirement. You have person A and person B. Person A, they're nearing retirement, but they decide that, yeah, you know what, I haven't met my financial goals yet, so I'm gonna keep risking pretty much everything. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, well, I mean, at least if it wasn't for a lack of trying. And then you have person B, they're nearing retirement, and they decide, yeah, you know what, I haven't necessarily reached my goals, but I'm at a point in my life where if I lose everything, there's just no world where I can live in where I just lost all my money. So I'm going to just shift into wealth preservation mode, despite the fact that I was just a little bit shy of reaching my goals. But you know what? That is okay, because the asymmetric upside is just not in my favor, so I will just play things conservatively. People's decisions are influenced by their own unique financial circumstances, their own unique life circumstances. And as depicted by the example that I gave earlier, it is clear that just because they have a similar circumstance that they're in nearing retirement doesn't mean they can have vastly different investment philosophies. And this diversity in decision making is exactly why we have an open market. It's exactly why it doesn't matter how sophisticated the models are that can literally track all these different things that are going on in the market, all these different factors, all these different variables. It doesn't matter. The level of unpredictability is just too much for all of these algorithms. You will never be able to account for human emotion and human circumstances. and different factors that affect different people. It's impossible. Now let's elaborate on a few of these factors that affect a person's decision to go in full wealth preservation mode, shall we? Okay, let's talk about age first. Age is the most common factor that will affect a person's decision to ignite the let's get into wealth preservation mode. It often aligns with retirement planning and family planning. So look at that, we're killing 2 birds, 3 birds with 1 stone. But think about it logically for a second though, all jokes aside. Let's just say you're 20 years old. What do you have at 20 years old? What do you have at the age of 20 that somebody at the age of 50 or 60 does not have? Come on, it is not a trick question. It's not. You have time. You have time. It starts with a T. It's time. You can afford to essentially risk it all. And even if you blow up and lose it all, my deepest condolences to you. But it's not the end of it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your life. That's okay. If you're 60 years old and you lose it all and you're about to retire, guess what happens? Just kidding. This is YouTube. Aggressive financial moves and maintaining a high degree of risk is very prevalent amongst the young folk. And why is it prevalent? Because most of us, many of us, 99% of us will never get that opportunity ever again. Why? Because one day life is just gonna kick us right in the butt and we're gonna have a mortgage, we're gonna have a family, we're gonna have kids, we're gonna have school to pay for, we're gonna have retirement plans that we have to fund, it is just gonna be too much. And if you have the audacity to risk your family's life savings at that stage in your life, you don't deserve to have a family. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Come for me in the comments. Come for me in the comments. Let's talk about economic uncertainty. Let's be honest here. We all want a level of predictability in our life. It doesn't matter what we're doing, whether it be school, a job, walking down the street, knowing where we're going. A level of predictability makes life infinitely easier because we can predict things with a high degree of certainty at that point. For example, you remember back in high school when the teacher, a test would be coming up and the teacher was gracious enough to give you a practice test. You did the practice test. It was hard, but you had it nonetheless. And then when it came time to the actual test, you looked at the questions and it was like, oh my God, these questions are pretty similar to the practice test. Thank you, right? So you felt good during that test. Yes, the practice test was hard, but there was a degree of predictability. The same goes for investing in real life, investing in assets, investing in the financial markets. And that is why when it comes to economic uncertainty, those that have a high degree of wealth decide, you know what? It looks fun. There's chaos in the streets. It all looks very interesting to me. However, I think I'm just going to sit this one out because I'm not going to risk my hard-earned money and I'm just going to play things safe. So I am going to just flip the switch and wealth preservation mode activated. That's just the way it is. And then when the market becomes a little bit more predictable, just like they've been investing in for the last 10, 20, 30 years, whatever it might be, then they'll be more inclined to just take a higher degree of risk. Predictability is the name of the game. And lastly, we have financial goals. This is perhaps the most obvious factor. You've reached your financial goals. You have a target in mind. You want to make $1 million. Great, you reached it. Why are you taking any more risk than you need to? You've already reached your goal, so now you are in. For those of you that are listening or watching the video and then just skip,
you failure.
Wealth preservation mode. Big freaking however. Just because you are in wealth preservation mode because you've reached your financial goals does not mean you just take everything out of the markets and just chill. No, because part of preserving your wealth is preserving your wealth, as in you don't want the value of your assets to go down in real terms. Nominal terms, yeah, sure, the value stays the same, but guess what? There's this pesky little thing that we like to call inflation. You don't want inflation eating away at your hard-earned wealth. You really do not. So part of wealth preservation, yes, you reached your goals, fantastic. But you can maintain your wealth, your purchasing power, value of your assets in real terms, and still take safe bets. So I really do not want my message here to get misconstrued in any way, shape, or form. And it is paramount that you understand this because your $10 million net worth can easily turn into $5 million over a span of 10 to 15 years because of this thing called inflation. No matter what the reason is to preserve your wealth, one thing is universal across all socioeconomic backgrounds, all ages, and all stages of life. Nobody wants to lose their wealth, period. It's not even up for debate. Risk tolerance is something that is paramount to understand early in your investment journey. So you don't invest first and then decide, what is my risk tolerance? That's not how it works. Order of operations is critical to understand. I said earlier in the video that the younger you are, the higher your risk tolerance. But you know what? That isn't always the case. For example, you're 20 years old, you've been investing for about 5 years, and you happen to make a solid investment and you made $500,000.
The rumor has it you're broke.
To 99% of the people watching this video, $500,000 is life-changing money. So maybe that 20-year-old made that $500,000 in 2, 3, 5 years, whatever it might be, and they decide, well, God damn. All right, I am now in wealth preservation mode. Whether they want to or not, that is life-changing money, and if they are a rational individual, they will start taking cautionary measures to ensure that they do not lose that $500,000 just as easily as they made it. Let me know down below in the comment section whether or not you are in wealth preservation mode, or are you in full degen, risk it all no matter what the cost is mode. If that's you, let me know. And also let me know your reasoning. Why are you in wealth preservation mode, and why are you a highly aggressive investor? I would really love to know down below in the comment section. As always, I thank you all for yet another opportunity to share my thoughts and my insights. I greatly appreciate it. I really do. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to the next one. BKO.